Overcoming comfort zone challenges is a gradual process, and that change takes time. So be patient with yourself, practice self compassion, and be willing to embrace setbacks as part of the journey. Because even though you have made a significant progress in stepping outside of your comfort zone, it's possible to regress and fall back into old habits and patterns. So constantly challenge yourself to stretch beyond your limits and embrace new opportunities for growth. Hi, guys. Welcome to another live session. In today's video, we're going to be talking about comfort zones, overcoming comfort zone challenges, and the hard truths. All right, so in my last video, I talked to you guys about identifying that I was living in my comfort zone, how it almost ruined me, and what I did to remove myself from that space of comfort zone and my personal growth transformation as someone who would consider myself the behind the scenes kind of girl, and how I moved from being behind the scenes to being more confident, more fearless and bold in just my approach and everyday life, right? No, I'm going to talk to you guys about a hard truth, because one of the things that I thought would disappear after I stepped outside of my comfort zone was that I didn't think I would have the same challenges of being in my comfort zone and thing. But what I found was that you can step outside of your comfort zone, and then because a different version of you is required at every level, you'll feel like, oh my gosh, I need to challenge myself to step outside of that comfort zone again, right? So that is something that I was struggling with, and those are some identifications or things that I discovered, I should say. And I am just so always so excited to share more about how I stepped outside of my comfort zone, and how you as an entrepreneur, just as a person, can just challenge yourself to step outside of your comfort zone. So here's the thing. I have my notes here with me, and I'm going to use my notes to guide me, because I don't want to miss anything. I don't want to I don't want to miss anything, because there's quite a few things that I wrote down that I want to share with you in today's live video. So in the comment box, I want you to tell me what is one thing you currently struggle with? What is something that you know that if you step outside of your comfort zone, you can achieve it, you can unlock it, What are your big goals that you set this year? What is a big goal that you have set? And just because you have that limiting belief or that fear, you realize, if I don't do this thing, I am not going to achieve it, right? I want you to comment in the box and let me know. I'd love to hear. And yeah, so I'm looking at my notes, and I'm going to dive in just a second. So let's go. All right. So, one of the first hard truths that I have personally discovered is one of the hard truths that I have personally discovered in my very life is that growth lies outside of your comfort, right? Growth lies outside of your comfort, guys. And comfort zones are just really comfortable for you. And it's a safe space, just like it says, it's a safe space. But one of the things that I have found with comfort zones is that nothing grows there. In my own life, I just know nothing grows there. It's safe, it limits our growth, it limits our potential and our ability to achieve more. And if I want to give you guys an example of how, my own, growth or stepping outside of my growth really helped me, it was when I shared it in my last video. I spoke about it when I started out on YouTube, and I think this is a really good one based on, I know my audience will watch this type of video. and they want to, probably start a YouTube channel, or maybe they want to do more in their business, but because they have that crippling fear or limiting belief, they don't make any move, right? But so my example here, or what happened in my personal life for me, was that when I started out on YouTube back in 2020, long time ago, guys, long time. One of the things that I struggled with was, not really struggle. I made a decision that I was going to start doing YouTube. But my first video that I created was faceless. I did not show my face at all. And I created a Canva tutorial. Perfect. That was the first step of stepping outside of my comfort zone, doing something that was different. And then the second time I created my YouTube video, it was another video. I was not showing my face, another tutorial. Fine. But on my third video, I decided I'm going to show my face. I want to do more than just hiding behind the camera, and to sit in front of the camera and start telling my story, start sharing my knowledge. And that first video that I did, it was not the best. But you know what happened for me, guys? What happened for me when I started stepping from behind the scenes is that I started to experience a new level of growth. I started to learn more about how I can, share my knowledge. I started to learn more how I can position myself online, especially in a new space, especially that being YouTube. So when I stepped outside of my comfort zone, I started to experience a new level of growth, right? I shared my knowledge, more persons were getting exposed to me, and my confidence started to build, because one of the things is that I started to learn new things. And because I'm learning new things, I'm practicing new things, I got better over time, and that boosted my confidence. So even me doing a live video, this is a great level of success compared to where I'm coming from. If you watch my first video from 2020 to now, it's like, what it's a chalk and cheese, two totally different things. But the thing, what I'm saying is that growth lies outside of your comfort zone, right? And one of the things I wrote here was that stepping outside of my comfort zone might not feel comfortable, but that's exactly where growth lies. And embracing discomfort is essential for achieving significant progress, right? So if you want to achieve significant progress in your life, you have to step outside of your comfort zone. And I'm going to slide right into point number 2. And my point number 2 is fear is inevitable. Fear is inevitable. Like, can you tell me, why did I think that after I stepped out of my comfort zone and started to tackle the fear of, oh, I don't want to be on camera or whatever, that it would go away? Listen, guys, at every level of your life that you will unlock, there will be a new challenge, a new fear. And that's a hard truth about overcoming your comfort zone. As someone, like I said, who identified as a behind the scenes kind of girl and just very introverted, I realized that I have to constantly challenge fear. I have to constantly challenge those limiting beliefs, and unlock a new version of myself every time I set a goal. Like, for instance, this year I've set some really audacious goals, and when I look at those goals, I said to myself, I definitely will be required to step outside of my comfort zone, right? Fly high, fly low. I have to step outside of my comfort zone if in order to achieve them. And it's the same for you. So maybe you have set a goal this year to grow your online presence, but maybe right now you're just comfortable just posting on Instagram. You're not showing your face. And that's fine if that's what you want to do. But if there's another level that you want to unlock that will require for you to start doing more Instagram lives, or start doing more reels, then you have to do that, right? And whatever fear is associated with you moving from just posting or hiding behind the camera to now going in front of the camera, it will require a different version of you. And the fear might creep in. I'm not gonna might, it will creep in, but you can unlock it when you realize that, listen, man, I have to challenge this fear. This fear isn't real. This fear makes no sense. And this fear is holding me back, right? So I want you to accept that fear will follow you wherever you are on your journey. but you have to learn to challenge those fears, right? So instead of letting your fear paralyze you, use it as a motivator to push you through obstacles and achieve your goals. Guys, if you do nothing at all, I want you to use me as a testament, right? If you are where I was 5 years ago, 4 years ago, and being that person who was just terrified of being on camera, that person who just rather writing a blog post, or that person who's just hide behind my comfort zone, it's definite. I want to definitely tell you that use me as a testament that you can have limiting beliefs, you can have comfort zone challenges, but you can unlock them when you challenge them. All right. So I want you guys to just remember that. I want you to be confident in that. And I want you to never quit on yourself, right? That's just one of my things. Don't quit on yourself. All right. And my third point in terms of overcoming comfort zones is perfection. Perfectionism hinders progress, right? Perfectionism hinders progress. So the thing is that when you talk about perfectionism, me know about perfectionism. I know what it feels like to want everything to be a certain way, look a certain way, before I make the step forward. But what I have found with that is that I made no progress, right? All the times I'm like, okay, before I host this live, I need to have A, B, C, and D. Nothing happens. But the minute I say, you know what, I'm going to host this live, I don't have A, B, C, and D. I probably have A, or probably I don't have A at all. Maybe I have B and I have C and I have D, or I have just two out of the three. If you get what I'm saying, I still go for it and do it, right? So, what I've found in my own life, and I've struggled with this, which is perfectionism, it's still something that I'm working through, which is nothing will be perfect, everything won't be perfect, but once you have set your goal, you can move forward, right? So that is something that I want you to just bear in mind before you make a step forward, that nothing will be perfect, and you will even set up everything to be perfect, and you will encounter or might encounter challenges. And I want to touch on that point of failure is part of the process, right? But that's my second point. But let's stick with point number 3 first, which is perfectionism hinders your progress, right? When that's just one of the hard truths about overcoming your comfort zone. So embrace imperfection, recognize that taking imperfect action is better than taking no action at all. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, like there's so many things that I've learned since I have challenged my limiting fears and challenged my limiting beliefs about a lot of things. And I realized, like, man, I wish I didn't struggle so much with like fear and limiting beliefs. And I wish I got over them a little sooner, because what I found is that, like I said, you unlock a different version of yourself every time. And you won't know until you start. You won't know until you step outside of your comfort zone. So yeah, let's jump right into point number 4, which is failure is part of the process. Failure is a part of the process, guys, where failure is not a sign of weakness. It is not saying that, boy, because you fail, that means you're not good. Failure is just part of the process. Once you step outside your comfort zone, here's what you're going to encounter. You're going to encounter something that you have never done before, which means that everything won't be, you won't just probably instantly achieve success, right? And so I'll just give you an example of what I'd probably consider failure. So one of the things I would have considered failure when I just started out on YouTube and building my online presence and putting myself more there is that I have created products, digital products that did not sell a dollar. I not sell no money. I not make no money. I'm gonna be very honest. I step outside of my comfort zone. I start promoting myself more. I start telling you that these are the products that I have, and I make no money. Right? It would be nice to know that, yeah, I did step outside of my comfort zone and make some money, but I didn't. right? Another thing is that I probably step outside of my comfort zone and are promoting and are doing all the work that I believe is required, and nothing happens. It's just crickets. But what that means that when you experience failure is that you find different ways to approach things. You realize like, okay, maybe this approach doesn't work. Maybe I can try another approach, right? So as an entrepreneur who is just challenged with stepping outside of your comfort zone and just working to overcome them, the hard truth is that failure is part of the process. You don't just jump outside of your comfort zone and then everything is just perfect. Failure will happen. It is part of the process. And one of the things that I've learned about failure is that failure is an event, it's not a person. So if I fail at something, that doesn't mean I'm a failure, right? And if I fail at something, I have learned something new. I've learned from that mistake. I've learned how to do something differently. And the important part about all of that is that I have made an achievement or I've achieved something because I've now moved from behind the curtain or struggling with that comfort zone to now stepping outside the comfort zone and now opening myself to learn new things, right? So use failure, like I said, as just a way to gain valuable insights, learn more, grow more, and instead of fearing it, using it. You instead of having a fear of failure, I should say, use it as a stepping stone. Yeah, this that's a stepping stone. Now, the fifth hard truth about overcoming your comfort zone is that success is uncomfortable. Listen, guys, success is uncomfortable. So, this is something that I have learned. Like, I want to tell you guys this quick story, right? And, in my videos on YouTube, you would have realized that there's a lot of things that if you've been following me from the beginning, first of all, they realize there's a lot of things that I used to do. I don't do them anymore because now I've been learning more, right? So just to give you an example, success is uncomfortable in terms of when I started out on YouTube, right? I was just, like I said, it was okay, just not showing my face, that kind of thing. I was doing my YouTube videos, I doing Canva tutorials. Perfect, great. But then I needed to start, growing my business, moving from just a side hustle. And I remember when I was side hustling, right? My first place I used to start side hustle on was on Fiverr. And Fiverr didn't require much from me. All I needed to do was to create my gig on Fiverr. That was in the early days, guys. We start talking about 2016 here. I would just create my gigs on Fiverr, wait for people to come to me, pitch them here and there, and that was it. Perfect, good. But things were just going so slow, crickets, nothing is happening, not much growth. And I said to myself, I want more growth. So what am I going to do? I said, you know what? I'm going to start pitching people. I start telling my network, like, hey, this is what I do. And I'm going to be honest with you, it was uncomfortable because for one, I didn't quite know how to do it, right? And I realized that in order to grow in business, you can't just hide behind the curtains, right? When you want more, when you want more, when you want growth, it's gonna stretch you. And so I started to pitch into people. I started to reach out to entrepreneurs who would want my business, want my services. And one of the other things that I know was very uncomfortable was when I decided, like, hey, I'm going to go to this business place and tell them this is what I offer. Like, go to the actual place, tell them this is what I offer, make a proposal, pitch them, meet with them. Those things were very uncomfortable. But when I achieved my first level or my first yes, that was success for me. And, like I said, for me, based on my personality, based on how I was initially, in terms of just being so behind the scenes and just a little, probably, I would say, probably a little too laid back, too reserved, I realized that I had to step outside of my comfort zone, right? And, just stepping outside my comfort zone allowed me to achieve success, but in the process, it was very uncomfortable. So we have to just push ourselves past doubt, taking the risk, believing in ourselves, very important, and challenging the fears that is associated with our comfort zone. And I just want to pause a little bit and just to tell you guys about my journal notebook that I created last year, right? Which is the Made to Shine, Don't Sleep on Your Greatness journal notebook. And one of the reasons why I'm mentioning this notebook is this was one of the things that I didn't see myself doing, if I was going to be honest. Like, this was one of the things I didn't see doing at the time. But I created this journal notebook as a way to share my own journey and some of the process that I utilize to step outside of my comfort zone. And like it says, Made to Shine, Don't Sleep on Your Greatness, Your Big Goals journal notebook, right? And what I literally did was to create this journal notebook, sharing little quotes, sharing steps and processes, and just a system, right? In the first part of the notebook, I shared like some systems in terms of what I do to challenge my fear and to achieve my goals. I want to give you a fun fact. When I decided to create this journal notebook, I had so many uncomfortable moments in terms of promoting it. And it was like touching back on another point I mentioned before, which is fear is inevitable. I never expect that I would have fear associated with the promoting my book. But the thing is, I've never created a book before. And so promoting the book, of course, would require a new level of myself, a new version of myself. And so I started promoting the book. I started telling my nail tech about the book. And I remember one day I went to the nail tech and she's like, listen, talk to them, tell them about your book, tell them about your journal. And I stood up and I was like, hey guys, I have this journal notebook. It's about inspired by what I started telling them. And I got one sale there. Again, success is uncomfortable. Achieving a particular goal can be uncomfortable. You have to do something that you probably have never done before in order to achieve that success. So I just want to share with you that, listen, we'll have goals, and you know it can get really uncomfortable to do a lot of things, but if you really don't make that step forward, you'll never achieve it, right? So I just wanted to share. I feel like I get a little emotional because I know how overcoming like a particular comfort zone is freeing, but also knowing how staying within your comfort zone can really limit your growth and your progress, right? So yeah, I just realized I felt a little yeah guys, had a little emotional moment there. It's like, yeah. But guys, if you want to purchase this journal notebook, you can scan the QR code here to get your very own journal notebook, and it is available on Amazon only. All right. Okay, guys. So I'm going to jump into my other point on comfort zones and overcoming them. And a hard truth about it is that gosh, guys, one of the things you'll find is that the hard truth is it's a continuous process. It's a continuous journey. It's a continuous process, right? So, over time, you will learn that your comfort zone or stepping outside of your comfort zone is not a one time event. It's not a one time thing. You're constantly learning yourself. You constantly need to realize that you can step outside of your comfort zone today, and tomorrow you have a new challenge that will require you to go back to that place of challenging yourself to step out, right? So like I was sharing with you that one of the things that I was doing one in 2016, 2015, 2016 thereabout, I was just running a women focused platform, doing my blogging, social posting on social media, and that was perfect. And the women started saying, hey, it would be good to have events, and that was something I wanted to do, and I was just really struggling with it. And I did it. I hosted my first event. That was great. I did my second event. That was great. I did the third one. That was great because guess what? I started to have some amount of familiarity and know-how of doing these things. But then I had another event, which is the largest event, bigger event. And I am telling you guys, what was required of me kind of brought me back to the place where I feel like I was regressing to my comfort zone, right? And I realized that it's a continuous journey. You can overcome a particular challenge, you can overcome a particular fear. And if you're not constantly challenging yourself, being self aware, then you will regress. You might regress, right? And that's my another point that I'll slide into, which is, point number 7, which is regression is possible. But before we jump into that, I just want to just say, as you continue to push yourself outside of your comfort zone, you'll encounter new challenges and new opportunities for growth. And like I keep saying, you will meet a version of yourself that you have never met before. And so you have to constantly push yourself. All right. And then my other point is that I want to share my final, or should I say my 7th point on one of the hard truths about comfort zone is that regress is possible, right? Regress is possible. And what the truth about this is that you can make significant steps outside of your comfort zone, and it's possible to fall back into old patterns, old habits that if you don't catch yourself, you will just go back to that place of not growing. And so you have to constantly, like I said, challenge yourself to stretch beyond the limit and embrace new opportunities for growth. Right? That is what it is. So these are 7 hard truths about overcoming your comfort zone. Um, these are just some of the things that I have had to personally, you know, deal with. These are things that I've experienced. If there's anything that you have experienced in terms of, working through your comfort zone and realizing, I'd love to hear from you. I want you to comment below and let me know. And this is a 3-part series on overcoming comfort zone challenges. And like I said, I felt very led to share. And I was just researching, like, what more can I share on top of what I've been dealing with as comfort zone? And I was like, you know what? Let me just share my truth. Let me share my experience. Let me share how I did it, and let me just talk to you guys. So I know this video will help at least one person. And if it helps at least one person, that's truly good enough for me. So yeah, I just wanted to share the hard truth and I using this as a space of motivation and encouragement that whether you're an entrepreneur, identify as an entrepreneur, just overall, I just want you to know that nothing grows within your comfort zone. You might have a goal that you set this year, and maybe for probably have one goal that you've been carrying from 2020, just saying, I have never achieved it because all you need to do is do one thing and you haven't done it. So if that's you, I just want you to like pause, right? And look at yourself and look within yourself and say, no, man, I want to achieve this thing. And because I'm not working towards it, it's making me really uncomfortable. It's making me miserable. I feel complacent. I feel uninspired in life. I just want you to just take yourself, take some time for yourself, sit down, do some self-assessment, identify what is really hindering you from taking that step, if it's that fear, if it's that limiting belief, and start challenging it. Start questioning, why am I fearful of this? And I hope you will realize that everything you're telling yourself is just a lie. And it's okay that if you step outside of your comfort zone, you will possibly fail, but you can always, always, always just grow and thrive, right? So I want you to scan the QR code to watch the 3-part video series on overcoming your comfort zones. If you have any questions, I just hope you just shoot them, write them in the comment box. If you don't want to send them in the comment box, of course, my details will be in the description box. Just talk to me, let me know. And it's just my pleasure to do this live stream despite how, uncomfortable it feels sometimes. I'm still not very familiar with going live. It's still not, what would I say, the easiest thing for me to do, because I feel like, yeah, there's just so many unnecessary fears that's associated and thinking about it. But the truth is, the fears and whatever I'm thinking is so not rational, right? So, do something today, or do something that makes you uncomfortable, and something that's like me uncomfortable is doing lives. And trust me, like I said in my last video, I will keep doing them until I get more comfortable with it. And I'm pretty sure that when I get comfortable with doing lives, there's something I will need to start doing more of that will make me uncomfortable, and I will keep challenging myself to do just that. So, I want you to subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel, Carey Digital. Share it with a friend, share the video with a friend, and I just hope that you will challenge yourself to step outside of your comfort zone and achieve all that is in store for you.